We're here with Alonza Barnett III, fresh off a remarkable performance in James Madison's 70-50 victory over North Carolina in Chapel Hill on Saturday. Alonza, congratulations on a huge game. You threw for 388 yards, 5 touchdowns, added 99 rushing yards and 2 scores. You accounted for all 7 of your team's offensive touchdowns. Named the Associated Press National Player of the Week. You have burst on the scene, my friend. What was it like playing in a game like this and putting up those kinds of video game numbers?
I mean, it was a surreal feeling, especially to be back in my home state, so close to home. I knew so many people on the other side of the ball, in the stands, and I had coaches, high school coaches supporting me as well, pee wee coaches, uncles, you name it, and just to be able to go out there and represent this university in that manner and bring that positive spotlight to the university was an honor.
I've heard players say that there are games like this where everything kind of slows down a bit and it seems just to happen magically. Everything seems to go right. Was this one of those games?
I would say on the 4 consecutive touchdown drives, it did start to slow down a little bit for me. But I think that we all just got in the flow. We all just got in the rhythm. If you were to ask the offensive line, the running backs, even the special teams guys and defense, we just fueled each other's fire and played off of each other. And I believe the game slowed down for everybody.
What's it like when you guys are on the sideline, the offense is on the sideline, and you just have those 4 consecutive touchdowns? What are you guys talking about? Are you guys like, keep it going, keep it going? Or are you like, can you believe this? What's it like out there?
Yeah, that's a part of the conversation. But at the same time, we sit there and we dissect what could we have done even better? How could we have been more efficient? How could we have scored, I don't know, even quicker? And you have to find those little nuances because just like we watch the tape, our opponents each week will watch the tape and they'll
Hmm.
try to dissect and find little things, little flaws in our games that they can exploit. And that was a big, focal point heading into Sunday and Monday. It doesn't matter, get better.
Yeah.
And Coach Jordan says that every week, and we try to do that in the game as well.
Looking back on the prep for this game, how much do you credit the game plan for the way this game turned out? And did you have an inkling before the game that it might kind of go something like this?
I mean, Coach Kennedy and the offensive staff, they do a tremendous job game planning and scouting guys up each week. Obviously, with the extra week for Carolina, I would say that was to our aid, and I think that'd be to anybody's aid when you have an extra week to prepare and really craft up, the looks that you're going to give the opponent. And uh, you don't expect to put up 70 points and have a dominant win like that, but if I mean, we had a pretty good idea that the caliber offense that we can do that week in, week out.
The offensive line played great. What were they doing out there that really helped you do what you were doing?
I mean, I was back there untouched. They really neutralized the defensive line and rush. They picked up blitzes, stunts, and everything tremendously. And like I've stated before, it wasn't just the starting five. Coach Smith, he likes to rotate offensive linemen in and out, fresh bodies. So for those guys to step up when their number was called, it means the world, and it's absolutely selfless of them to do that.
It's kind of a great situation where you can play a Power Five team and get your rotations in and get snaps against that level of competition, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it all starts up front, and like they say, the offensive line, the games are won within the trenches. And when we can run the ball effectively and pass the ball effectively, no matter the down and distance, you have a tremendous chance of winning the game.
Yeah. At what point in the game were you like, all right, I'm feeling it. I think it's gonna, pretty much go the way we want to. What was that turning point in the game for you?
I think that started with the offsides bomb to Omarion, just the amount of confidence that I got from that. But just I can't really put my finger on one point. I would definitely say it was within the 4 TD drive.
Hmm.
I think the interception before half by Terrence Spence, that was really like the cherry on top
Hmm.
to our success within that half. And going into halftime, Coach Chesney calls that the most meaningless stat in college football. So we were happy and confident in what we did in the first half, but knew we had to finish it in the second half.
But you did have 53 points at the half, which is just crazy. What was the mood like in the locker room at half? What did the coaches tell you?
Like I said before, Coach Chesney called it the most meaningless stat in college football, and as we have seen before, especially with the Carolina defense, they were a really great and stout second half team. If you look at their stats from the previous game, I think with North Carolina Central, they held them to like 80 total yards or less, something like that in the second half. So we knew that they would make not only their in-game adjustments from drive to drive, but halftime would really be where they sat down and dissected and tried to come out and give us new looks.
Yeah, this game had a little bit of everything. You guys scored on an interception return, a block punt. They scored on a block punt, I think. Was this the craziest game you've ever been involved in, whether it's high school, Pop Warner, or college?
Oh yeah, for sure. That, I mean, it was like you said, it was a video game like game. The
Yeah.
things that happen, you can't script that, and for it to be 50 points within a half, and the final score to total over 100 points, it looked like a basketball game,
Hmm.
and it felt kind of like a video game, like the settings were turned down or something like
Yeah,
that. So it was pretty cool to be a part of.
definitely a basketball score for sure. Looking at the setting on the road against an ACC team, how important is this victory for the program? And not just getting the victory, but doing it the way you did, just dominating a Power Five team.
I mean, that gives everybody the utmost confidence, going into the rest of the season. And that was the most important game for us because it was the next game. And
Hmm.
Ball State is the most important game for us right now because it's the next game. And just knowing that we played at that level and we still have corrections and things that we can get better at, it is just is great for this team, great for this program, great for this university, and we're going to continue to build off that.
What was the reaction from the James Madison community? Going to class today, being around students, talking about things. What were people saying?
Well, I have yet to go to class.
Okay.
We have Mondays off now.
Oh, okay.
Sundays is like our work day where we, put the game to rest and we move
Hmm.
on to Ball State. So I have a class here at 1:50 and then a class at 5. So I would assume that the buzz on campus is pretty nice, especially with this weekend being family weekend.
Hmm.
So, it'll be interesting to see how campus is.
You're out of Grimsley High in Greensboro. You won a state championship in 2020. What schools were recruiting you the hardest coming out of high school, and what ultimately led you to choose James Madison?
I had a number of schools that offered me and recruited me. Old Dominion was my first offer. I would say they were the ones that recruited me. They were among the ones that recruited me the hardest. James Madison, obviously. UNC Charlotte offered me. Trying to remember who else. Miami of Ohio offered me. North Carolina A&T, my parents' alma mater, offered me. North Carolina Central offered me as well. But I think just the tradition and the rich history within this program, uh, it was definitely attractive to myself. And it's only about three hours and some change away from home. So the family type atmosphere was something that I really enjoyed and appreciated. And coming on campus, that really like solidified that people smiling at you, waving at you, how are you doing? It really felt like a southern place. It felt like a home away from home.
Hmm.
Campus is big, but like they say, is if you see somebody, you better say hey because you'll never see them again. I feel like I see the same faces over and over and over, and that's comforting being 3 hours away from home. And
Hmm.
of course, the game day atmosphere is like no other. It's among the top in the country. So when you combine all those, it was a no brainer for me.
You're in your first year as the starter, sophomore. Are you starting to get more recognition around campus being the starting quarterback?
I don't know if I am. One lady at the market, she kind of swiped my card and looked at me, and she said, "Oh, you're the sir." I said, "Yes, ma'am, that's me." But I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I see myself just like anybody else, regular
Yeah.
human. I bleed like everybody else bleeds. So.
I'm curious to see how that will change after this game. Your dad and uncle played college football and in the NFL. What kind of influences did they have on you growing up football wise? And also your uncle went to UNC. What did he have to say to you after this game?
Yeah, that my dad, that's the guy. He's the man. I, that moment was really special because he's always told me that day would come. That day would come. Even after my struggles against Bucknell, he told me to keep working, put God first, and everything will sort itself out. I still remember those days. Sunday, we get up early in the morning, travel down to Atlanta, get 2 quarterback throwing sessions in, and come back the same day and do that every other week. And just his selflessness and the willingness for him to sacrifice for me to reach my goals and
Hmm.
achieve them, it means the world to me. And my uncle, I saw him after the game. He had the half and half shirt on. So he had half Carolina with his 9 and my 1 with
Yeah.
JMU with Barnett on the back. And he was like, "Why'd you have to do us like that, man?" He was obviously happy that I had that performance, but he played under Matt Brown as well. I was talked to a little bit by Carolina, brought in for a workout, but that was ultimately it.
Yeah. I'm sure coming into the season, you got the starting job and you have your goals. Do your goals change a little bit after having this kind of game? Like, are you like, well, wait a minute, maybe I can really do a lot more than I thought I could do? Is it change a little bit, or are you still kind of even keeled, doing what you thought you would do at the beginning of the year?
You have to be even killed. There are a lot of ebbs and flows within the season, and I know that. And I've had great guys to give me advice who have been through those ebbs and flows, like Cole Johnson, Todd Centeio, two former JMU quarterbacks. So I know just as easy as I had 7 touchdowns, unfortunate things can happen during the game, a tip pass, a fumble. So, just making sure I play consistent, play in, play out is what I focus on.
Yeah. And you guys host Ball State this Saturday, like you said, family weekend. What are the coaches telling the team coming off such a big win?
Rat poison. You have to lay that to rest.
Yeah.
You have to focus on Ball State. They're a formidable team, like we talked about before. They're gonna come in here, of course, all guns blazing, and we just have to do what we do best consistently and as hard as possible.
Away from the football field in the James Madison community, what are some of the things you and your teammates are involved in?
Well, the support that we receive from the surrounding elementary schools, middle and high schools, means the world to us. And with the student athlete advisory committee here, we are teaming up specifically the football team and aiding Lacey Springs Elementary School here. We have a Venmo that we donate to, and we give clothes, markers, whiteboards, fruit snacks, granola bars, whatever the kids may need to, be successful, because they are the next generation, and their support, helps us be who we are in Harrisonburg, Virginia. So that's something that we take serious in supporting them as well.
That's awesome. Do you have any Heisman winners in the past that you looked up to and really enjoyed watching?
I mean, Kyler Murray was special. Kyler Murray, Lamar, guys like that are guys that I like to try to take pieces of their game and fit them into how I play, my play style. And I'd say, just off the top of my head, those are my two favorites.
Well, Alonza Barnett, if people didn't know about you before, they know about you now. It was a pleasure having you on the official Heisman Trophy podcast, and we wish you best of luck this upcoming game and the rest of the season.
I appreciate you, Mr. Houston.
Thank you.
Good news.